Hey everyone, I'm Karanjot Singh, core member of DSE Triple ITD and program facilitator of Android Study Jams. Welcome aboard. This is our third and final session of this three-event series to get you started with Android development. And it's great to see your progress that a lot of you guys have made here. So, before we begin, let's just go over a few logistics real quick. So, as a reminder, here is the timeline for this program. The deadline for app submission is 24th Jan, and the deadline for course completion for certification is 9th February. Let me just guide you through the process of certification. So I have linked two Google Forms. One will be a form for the app submission, and the other will be the form for certification. So even if you choose to submit the apps, you have to fill both the forms. App submission is optional; it's not mandatory. So I'll just present this to you real quick, and I'll explain the technicalities of submissions. Just bear with me till then. Yeah, so this is the app submission form. So I've attached the instructions here quite elaborately. So you'll have to generate an APK for any innovative app that you make using the knowledge from this program. Then you'll have to upload the link. It can either be a Play Store link, Google Drive, or GitHub. That works. And then you can submit these apps to Google before 24th, and you'll have to select one screenshot. Only one is allowed. So you'll have to select the best screenshot of your app that you've made, which describes the functionality, which is able. So I recommend that it should be good looking and a pretty UI. So it should be able to explain the purpose of the app, right? And the APK. So you have to share these two things, and then don't forget to fill the second form, that is the certification form. So this form will be open till 24th January, the app submission one. And the second form, which I'm going to talk about now, is the participant form for certification. And that will be open till 9th February. I hope it's clear. So regarding this is the form. In this, you'll have to, as you can see on the screen, you have to fill in these details. You'll have to upload a screenshot of your Google developers profile with the badges. So I'll just show you the right format for the badges. Okay, so when you submit your screenshot of your profile, so these are the 10 badges, right? Of Android Kotlin Fundamentals, the course. So these badges are numbered from 1 to 10 for your convenience. So I have provided all these links in this document, right? Shared on the Telegram channel. So this is, if you can see my screen right here, I hope it's clear. I'll just zoom in a bit. Yeah. So as you can see, this is a screenshot of my profile. So this is what an ideal screenshot should look like. It should have your name, a couple of details. That's not mandatory. Your name is mandatory. And it should show the badges that you've collected from 1 to 10 in the same frame. So don't submit screenshots which have your name in one and the badges in the other. In that case, I'll have to look into more details, right? And or this is an example. So yeah, I have done more courses than you have to. So you'll see more badges than you need on my profile. So you just need these numbered badges 1 to 10, right? For example, this is the screenshot of another student, and they have completed the courses. So yeah, this is somewhat how your profile should look like. I hope it's clear. Yeah, so you need to upload this screenshot of your Google developers profile and nothing else. You just have to enter your name and you will be provided with the certificates. So irregular submissions without clarity of these badges will be rejected. So I did notice a few people had submitted, but they were not right submissions. That is why I'm telling you this in the first place. You guys having doubts regarding this?
Excuse me. I got the mail about that this was supposed to be session 1 of the Android Study Jam.
This is the session 3. Okay, so I think you're a little late, but we have all the recordings for the previous sessions. Are you in the Telegram channel?
Yes, I just joined it now.
Okay. So you can refer the pinned document right now. It has a Google Sheet. So you can choose to say here if you want to. if you can grasp the concepts. Till then, otherwise, you can see the recordings. All the sessions were recorded. And if you have any other queries, I can take it offline.
Okay. Is there supposed to be a deadline to the course?
Yes. So all the details are mentioned in the document. If you have any other queries, you
Okay.
can just reach out to me on Telegram.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, great. So any other queries? I'll just wait a minute. All right, let's proceed. Yeah, so one more thing, you can feel free to use hashtag Android Study Jams and hashtag Developer Student Clubs while sharing your progress and apps on Twitter and tag @ Google DevZen. Yeah, so here's some motivation for you guys. The Google Devs India page with more than 47,000 followers. So imagine your app being showcased here. Now that's a big bragging right. So I urge all of you to try to make innovative and good looking apps. So definitely give it a shot, irrespective of how good you think you are. So you should definitely give it a try. I think so. So this is the page that could possibly post about your app. So that's a big privilege. So also here's a sneak peek at what your certificates would look like. So I think you should like be prepared with all your might and try to complete the courses in time. All right, so let's get back to work with a quick recap of the previous session. So here's what we discussed in the last session. So you guys basically accomplished a lot. You started learning about these important topics in Kotlin, the basic Kotlin syntax. We explored through Android Studio, and we created our first Android app. So today we'll be building upon that knowledge, and I'll briefly revise it for those guys who were not able to attend the previous session. It will be a quick revision, and I hope it's smooth for you guys, right? So in the previous session, we set up Android Studio. Android Studio is the official tool that professional Android developers use to build Android apps. So there's a lot of functionality that is available in Android Studio. For example, as we saw in the past session, there are templates for activities to create our app, which can provide a set template of boilerplate code to help us get started as quick as possible. We also have a layout editor to quickly manage our layouts and edit how our UI of the application of our activity would look like. So once you add a UI component, you can modify its attribute in the attributes window, as we saw, the window in the right. And then in the previous sessions, we also went over the Android emulator, which you can use to run Android apps when you don't have a other Android device available. And it just emulates the Android system and helps you debug your apps or test them. So on continuing with this course, you will be building these 3 apps. So get excited about this. Each one of you will help you to learn new concepts. And the first one will be the dice roller app. It allows you to roll a dice when a button is clicked and get a random value in each time. So it will just update. It's just like an app that you can use to play your games when you don't have dice. So that's one of the first basic apps that you will be developing. Then the second one is the About Me app. And the third one is the Color My Views application. Okay, so let's go over the concept overview real quick. Let's start. Does anyone have any questions till now? I'll just allow a minute for people. Great. Okay, so let's begin. I'll just share my screen again. Okay, there are some things in the chat. I'll just clarify it real quick. We can upload the apps that we have created in. So it is recommended that you make a few changes. It is recommended that you make them ideally. It is make some innovative apps. Don't just submit the same apps that you've learned in the course. But yes, you can take ideas and you can like modify the apps. to your benefit. So you do need to use the knowledge, but try not to submit the same apps that they have taught in the course. Okay, Sarthak, how can we confirm once after submitting the form? Okay, so yes, so post the deadline, I will release a list, or I'll fill in the form. I'll send a Google sheet acknowledging your submission. Once you submit it, post 9th Feb, and in any case of discrepancies, then we can take it out later. So yeah, ideally there won't be any issues if you just follow the directions. As I said, like you need to zoom out so that your name and the badges are visible. That's the only requirement here. It won't be very strict. Like it is pretty subtle. Like I won't be judging you on the basis of quality of screenshots or all. If it's visible, it's not a problem. All right. Okay. Yeah, so don't call me sir. It's totally fine. You can call me Karan. Yeah, Karan Jyoth or Karan. Anything works. Okay. Just a minute. Let me share my screen. Okay, so here's a spin-off of the dice roller app that I was working on. It just took me like a few minutes. So I'll help you guys through this, and we'll possibly make this. We'll create this app again. Till then, for those of you who are new here, I'll just have a brief overview of Android Studio real quick. Right. So yeah, I hope my screen is visible. Yeah, so this is the project window basically. If you guys can see my pointer. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. Can someone confirm that for me? Can you see the cursor?
Yes.
Or the point? Great. Yeah. So this is the project window, and make sure that you're in the Android subsection of this project window. It makes it arranges the directories very quickly and nicely. And yes, this is the project window, and this is our code view, where we'll see the Kotlin files and our XML files. So just to explain for those guys who are new, how our Android projects in Kotlin are designed is, we'll have our code that is separate from our UI. The UI will be organized in form of layouts. We call it as a layout. So as you can see in this directory, so we have an app directory over here, right? So in the app directory, we'll have a few subfolders, like we'll have Java, we'll have Res. As you can see, we'll have manifest folder or manifest directory, then Java, then there'll be another Java generated, or there'll be a Res. So Res stands for resources. So all the resources that you'll be using for making your application, that will be here in this folder. The Java folder will have your main file for your Kotlin code. And the manifest folder is also important here. So what the manifest folder has is, it has a file called as Android manifest.xml. So I'll just expand it for you and you guys can see it. Yeah, so this is the file Android manifest.xml. Okay, yeah, so this is the XML files are also coded. So here you can see it's kind of like HTML. You guys could relate to it. So if you have a look over here, we'll have a line that connects it to main activity. So main activity is the default name of your Kotlin files, and your Kotlin files will have a .kt extension. So what does this manifest Android manifest.xml does is that it includes details that you would need your Android system that it needs to run the app, including like what activities are your part of the app. So let's just so if you guys are aware, activity is basically a screen, as we discussed in the previous session. So roughly, like from a loose point of view, you can call an activity to be a screen. So it's any UI, any practically a layout that covers the whole screen on your point, and it does functionality. So any function that it does for the app, we call it an activity. So for activity files, we have a specific for activities, we have a layout files. So for any layout file or a screen. So basically, a lot of your apps have screens, right? So if you have Swiggy, you have like a profile screen, you'll have a home screen. So all these will be made via layouts, right? So for that, to have multiple layouts in our Android app, we'll have to declare them in this file, Android manifest file. So over here, I just have one right now. So as you can see, there'll be a main activity file that I'll be having in this app. If I add other activities, so I'll have to declare it here. And each activity has basically a life cycle. You can look it up, and it's a little advanced for this session, particularly right now. But you can search for this Android activity lifecycle, and you'll get a lot of information on it. So I gave you a loose kind of overview of what an activity is. It's a little more than that, but we'll keep it at, we'll pin it here for this time. Yeah. So this covers the Android manifest.xml. And yeah, let's talk about Java. So in the Java folder, we have a Kotlin code, as I said. So in this, I'll just expand this. Yeah, we have 3 subfolders. So this is the package name or the domain name that we set while setting up our project on Android Studio. Okay, so this is our primary folder, which will have our main activity.kt, our Kotlin file for the code. So this is the Kotlin file. I've made a few changes over here, so you can just ignore it for now, right? And the other 2 folders are for testing purposes, and we'll ignore them. They are for unit testing, for advanced testing that we might do at a later stage in our Android development. Okay, so the Java generated folder, this contains temporary files when once you build your app. So it is stuff that you don't need to care about. They're config files, as you can see, like build config. So we don't care about that right now. So in the resources folder, we have 4 subfolders: drawable, layout, a mip map, and values. So in drawable, if we have any assets or we have strings, right? So we can add them. External resources, we add it in drawable, the things that we need in our layout, right? So if I was clear before, the activity will be in the form of a layout file, which is an XML file. So I'll show it to you here. So this is an app that I worked on, as I said, right? So this is the XML file. This is the design view of the XML file, and here's the code view. You can view the code view by clicking on the screen. On the top right of the screen, you'll see code, split, and design. So I'll just take a minute and view the chat. Okay. Great. So everybody is with me. You guys can open. Okay, let's do one thing. I'll close this project and we'll open a new project for your convenience. So is everyone with me? Were you guys there? Can anyone confirm this for me? Like, do you have Android Studio ID in front of you? If not, we can set it up real quick once again.
I have one small doubt.
Yeah, sure.
In the manifest folder, we have to make changes ourselves, or the changes are themselves done. Once we do the
Yes.
changes themselves, the changes gets reflected in the manifest itself, or do we have to make the changes in the XML files?
We have to add it in the Android manifest. But for
Sure.
today, scope of today's tutorial, we won't be doing that. But yes, we have to do it manually.
And in the application that you have shown just now, in that application you have used only one screen, because as far as I have done, I have made the dice roller app. So in that, in the home page itself, I was being shown the dice roller and its several images. But as you have done, you have shown another image in the first page, and several other images you have set as drawables. So can you please run the app and show once how it is running?
Okay. So I'll be doing that a little later in the session. For all those who are a little new and not here yet, I believe that you have done the course. So I'll be covering that. So just hold on for some time. I will be showing the app and we'll possibly be coding it live as well. Okay, so I'll just give you a brief. Yeah, I can run it. Just let me connect my app. I've connect my mobile phone here. Right, so we'll do it a little later. And till then I can cover some doubts. Rest
Sure.
assured, your doubts will be covered. Okay, so I'll just wait if anyone else has any other doubts. Okay, Okay, so for now, we'll go back to our slides. Just give me a minute. All right, so here's a brief, you can see in the image, this is how a layout looks like. So it will be basically the UI of your app. So when we build the Dice Roller app, we will learn more about layouts. So what a layout basically does is it defines the structure of for a UI. And layouts in our Android application will be made up of a hierarchy of views and view groups. So what are these? We'll just cover these. So here are some types of views that are provided by Android. There's a text view for displaying text, image view display for displaying images, and there's a button view to perform some actions when it's tapped. So basically, views are like components of your app that are pre-coded by Android Studio and the IDE, right? So you get these tools provided by the SDK, so you can code your app easily. You don't have to create every small thing in your application. So yeah, so we have a lot of text views. Primarily, these are like one of the major ones that you'll use a lot. So there's text view, image view, and button. So these are called views. And let's talk about view groups. So if we want to position one or more views on our screen, so we use a view group. So here are some examples of view groups in Android. So we use frame layout when you have to use, when you have one view and you want to position that on the screen, right? So if you have one view and you want to position it on the screen, according to the, like, if you want to position it, that's when you use a frame layout. We use linear layout to display a row. So if you have multiple, for example, if you are making an app like Swiggy, so you'll have multiple restaurants, or you'll have a list, or you can call it a view for each restaurant with the name of the restaurant, and you'll have the app icon, and you'll have a few details about it. So you see that list when you search for orders or when you search for food items, right? So that is that is like a linear layout, right? So you have text views that are there, and it's actually a scrollable one. So we'll not get into that right now, but for the scope of this tutorial, yeah, we can call it a linear layout. And yeah, as I said, it's used to display a row of views or a column of views also. And as shown in this diagram, a constraint layout is basically used for more complex layouts. And you may hear that view group is referred to as parent, and the views inside it is called as children. So as we talk about it, so as I said, the view group will have one or more views inside it, and we'll often refer to the view group as parent, and these particular individually views are called as children. So we can also declare these layouts in XML. So I'll just go over this from a high level point of view for those of you who are new to programming. So don't get intimidated by this. It's fairly simple. If you have seen HTML, you'll be comfortable. So Android Studio does provide us with the ability of a GUI, as I showed you right now. So we have a GUI to do our task for us, right? So we can just drag and drop buttons, or we can drag and drop views on our application, right? And but still, it is a lot faster if we do things via code, via the XML files that are provided. So I'll just show this to you real quick, and you can practically do everything that you do via GUI with your code, and it's faster. So let's just cover the content of the slide, and I'll show it to you on Android Studio. Okay, just a second. Okay, so the screen is updated now. Yes. So before we do that, before we once again dive into our Android Studio, let's cover some basic aspect of our Android app that I was talking about earlier, right? So as I said, an activity is how user interacts with your app. So it takes care of creating a window or displaying a UI. So an activity can have a functionality associated with it, and an activity has a life cycle. We can look that up. You can look it up later, as I said earlier. So as I also mentioned, resources. So resources are the additional files and static content that your code uses. So it can have layout files. So as you saw, I'll shift to the Android Studio again, once again. So let me just do that right now. I'll do it as I explain the code, as I explain the directories. So today, practically, we'll be having a good hands-on session with Android Studio. So for those of you guys who are afraid of it or you're intimidated by it, so just get ready. We'll be going deep with Android Studio. I'll not keep things complicated, just not to confuse you guys. It will be fairly simple, but yeah, we'll be getting handsy with it. Okay. So yeah, I'll just close the other directories to avoid confusion. I'll just minimize them. So yes, let's talk about this resources folder, the res folder, right? So as I was saying earlier, this has this drawable folder. So what the resources folder does is that it has additional files and static content. So you can have layout files, image files, audio files, or UI strings and themes. So I'll just show it to you how we can do that. So for my application, I used a couple of images, right? So I had to add them to this drawable folder. That's where your images go if you want to include them in your layout. So if you want your image view to have an image from your layout to have that, you'll have to add it in the drawable folder. You'll add resources over here. So it also has some other you can say files. One is the IC launcher background.xml and the IC launcher foreground. So this is basically used for the app icon. Right now it's set to default, so it's just the Android logo, right? So later, if you want to change it, you can change it from here. So that is also supposed to be in the resources folder. Okay, so now drawable is done. Let's talk about layout. So as I said earlier, layout contains all your activity files and your layout files. So basically, you'll use layout files for your activities, speaking from this context, right? So right now, having only one screen or one activity in our app, we'll have only one file. So this is how the file looks like. This is the XML format. This is the code. This is the backend, or you can say the behind the curtain scene of what the code looks like. And this is how the front end or the front part of the code looks like right now. So here's the GUI that you can use to create and add these image views or buttons. So this Omnitrix that you can see right here. So I'm a big Ben 10 fan, so I did make a spin-off of this dice roller app. So this is an image button, right? So it's practically an image, but it functions as a button and it has a functionality when you click on it. Okay, so this is a static one. So when I click on it right now, you'll not be able to see it. This is the editor basically. So this is the design editor. And here you have the attributes window, which we were talking about. And each of our element, each of our view can be customized through this attributes window. So we'll also get into this a little later, and we'll start the project from scratch, right? So I hope you guys will enjoy this. And now let's proceed. So I talked about the layout files. So this is the design view of it, and this is the code view. And in MipMap, again, we have IC launcher and we have IC launcher round. So this is again something that we don't need to get into right now. We can avoid this for now. And for values, so it's a good practice to keep our code object oriented. And we have, so instead of referring to values directly every time, we make constants. So the whole point of constants is that it eases our process once we have to change them. Suppose, for example, if I decided that I'll make my app with the primary color white, I'll have the background as white, and I'll have a secondary color, right, for my top bar or the app bar or the navigation. So basically the theme. So if I decide upon it and I hard code the values everywhere. So if I just enter, suppose I decide that it has to be blue and gray. So everywhere I need a button, or everywhere I need a list or a scroll bar, I'll have to hard code it every time. So instead of doing that, we set up constants for our applications so that this eases our process of creating an application. So you can see this in colors.xml in the values folder. So we are in res right now. We can go to values in it and you'll see colors.xml. So by default, when I created this project, Android Studio set some colors for me right now, and I'm sticking to that. But we can make our changes over here, and you'll see this. You'll see the updation in your app. So if you're aware, all these colors are in the form of a hexadecimal string, right? So this is a hexadecimal string. This hashtag FFB86FC. This is a way for the code to realize which color it is in the form of RGB. If you guys know about RGB, it's like red, blue, green. So there are a lot of ways to denote colors in programming or in code. So this is we follow the standard one is hexadecimal. So this is also an XML file, colors.xml. We'll declare all our colors and constant, basically the colors, the theme. We'll have it over here, right? So we also have a strings.xml. Again, this is for some strings or titles that we might use again, like the app name. As we build advanced apps, better apps, we'll need this also later. Then in values, we also have a subfolder called as themes. So when we go to themes.xml, so Kotlin has created this by default. When you click on it, it's another XML file that customizes for your bright theme and your dark mode, basically dark theme or the night theme as we call it. So it has also used those primary colors or the secondary colors to customize a theme for it to change it accordingly. Like with newer versions of Android where we have system by dark mode, it really helps out. So I think we have covered the directory structure. Yes. So yeah, one more thing. We also have Gradle. I'll just close these for your clarity. We also have Gradle scripts here. So when we talk about Gradle, so Gradle, as I said earlier, it's an open source build system. It is the code, or it is the script that converts your app, converts these XML files, all these XML files, connects it and creates an APK on your emulator on your device or your device. So whenever you run your project, you'll often see this code execution. If I run this, you'll have a build.gradle running. You have two processes running, or Gradle build completed, or you'll in case of an error, you'll have a Gradle build failed. So Gradle is an open source build system, and we have two Gradle files. One will be a project level Gradle file, and one will be a model level Gradle file. So this system is irrespective of the language we are using, Gradle. So Gradle will so some of you guys might have experience with Flutter or other or suppose say Android development in Java, not specifically Kotlin. So Gradle is also common there, right? So in case of dependencies, so suppose I have to add a login authentication to my application, or I have to add databases, or I have to connect it to Firebase, which is a real-time database. It is a NoSQL database that we use for data, collecting data and storing data in our applications. So if I have to connect these functionalities, like you see when Swiggy has it, or Zomato has it, or Amazon has it, so they have authentication. When you have sign-in functionalities, login, storing this, so you have to store data for each individual user in a individual, or you can say in a unique way. So that's when you use authentication and databases. So when we have to add that to our application, we'll be making some changes in the build.gradle files, the project level and the module level as well. So just a brief, a high level view over it. As you can see, these right now you can see repositories Google and JCenter, and this has the Kotlin. This is a build script. So this is how your APK is made. This is what code that is followed to convert your application, your XML files into an APK. So just a minute. Right. So you'll have some dependencies over here. So you can see com.android.tools. So this is a dependency that is a build.gradle that is needed to build your application. And then you have org.jetbrains.kotlin. This is the Gradle plugin to compile your Kotlin applications. So this is the top level file. I'll not go into more detail here. And then we have another project level Gradle file where we'll have the SDK version. So are you guys aware of the SDK version? Can anybody confirm this for me? If you're not aware, you can just mention it in the chat and I'll explain this to you. The minimum SDK or which we talked about in our previous session. Okay, so yeah, a few people are not aware. For that, yeah. So for that, I'll just keep presenting and I'll create a new project real quick so that I can explain it to you guys. So this is something that we covered in our previous session. And when we create a new project or a new application, when we want to create it via Android Studio, so Android Studio provides us with tools. It's an ID. So one of the tools that it provides is that when we start a new project, we can have templates. So when we click on a template, we'll be preferring empty activity. This will just build this stuff quickly for us, basically a template which you can work on. It will provide a basic framework that you can build your application upon. So we'll be going to empty activity. We'll click on next. So you guys can do this if you have Android Studio installed. You can do it along with me, and you can choose to stop me or modify my pace if you guys are not catching up. Just mention it in the chat if you feel my pace is too slow or too fast. Right. So we'll have a name for our application here. Okay, so I'll be helping you create the new version, another version of this Ben 10 app or the Dice Roller app. So I have the Ben 10 assets right now. So I'll be doing that. So let's just name it Ben 10, right? So this is a package name. This should be unique for updating on your Play Store. So yeah, let's talk about, so the rest of the stuff you can check out in the previous session. Let's talk about minimum SDK. So as I said in our previous sessions, when we develop an app, it is not possible that you make one app for all operating systems that have existed, all Android, speaking in terms of Android. It is not possible that you do that for all Android phones or all Android OSs that are existed, right? So each time a new Android is released, you also have an API level that is updated with features or, bugs are resolved, right? So as you can see here are the Android versions, a few recent ones, starting from 4 to Android 10. So what happens is we can't use, so with each new version, we have updated tools. Things are getting easier to make or develop for Android developers with each newer version. But the support for older devices ends with each newer version. What I mean by this is that if I choose a minimum SDK, so I'll have SDK is a software development kit. So before starting to create my application, I'll have to choose one. I'll have to select one so that will be the Android version I least support. So for example, if I click on Android 10 over here, if I select this in my minimum SDK while setting up my application, my app will only run on Android 10 and above. On below versions of Android, it will be buggy or it might not run at all. So that is a trade-off that we'll have to make. So currently, Android 10 is only being used by 8.2% of the devices. But the advantage of using a newer API version, the API 29, is that it has new features or some things that are not supported in the previous Android versions. Suppose, for example, you have 5G support over here, and then you'll have a smart reply in notifications. These features are added in Android, and they can be used in your Android application. So if you have any more doubts, you can refer my session recording, or I'll clarify it for you in the chats. So basically, the crux of it is that we'll have to make a compromise. Either we can choose maximum number of users जिनके लिए हम ऐप बना सकते हैं, or we can have an application that is equipped with the latest technology or the latest tools. For example, in case of Marshmallow, fingerprint authentication. So all our phones have fingerprint sensors, right? So this feature was added in the API level 23 by Android Marshmallow. So if I selected this SDK, I can make apps that can use this feature of fingerprint authentication. But had I used Lollipop, the earlier SDK, API level 22, I cannot have that feature in my app. So as you as newer versions come, so the number of users of Android are decreasing because maximum users of Android, because of some technicalities of manufacturers and how Android has been developed and produced by different manufacturers, where Android is manufactured by Google, but where it's provided to different phone providers, basically. So that delays this process, and we have a very less number of devices that run the latest Android. So you'll have to decide. So the sweet spot is that where you have maximum number of features, where your app is advanced and can equip tools, and covers a lot of users. So if you make an app, you don't want your app to be only used by 8% or 40%. You want your app to be usable by a lot of people. So I would say it's like Lollipop or Marshmallow. I would prefer Marshmallow. So it covers, so this is our minimum SDK. So it covers about 85% of Android users, and it also provides with a significant recent tools so that we can make our app very conveniently. Okay, so this is what our SDK is about. So yeah, I think we have less time to code it live, but yeah, sure, we can do that. So I'll just finish this project and set this up. So I hope you guys are doing this with me. I'll just check the chat. Okay. So the API window was not visible. All right. I'll just share it again in case. All right. Okay, I'll just share it again. Don't worry. So till then, you guys can set up this application. Okay, I'll just share it again. In case you can't see a portion of my screen, then please immediately mention it in the chat, because I won't be checking the chat at a very regular interval. Right. So let's just do this once again. You guys could unmute yourself if this case happens. So I'll do what I just explained right now real quick. So what I did was create an empty project, as I was talking about. These are the templates. I hope you can see this now. So we selected an empty activity. Next. And then here's a name and package name. And here is the minimum SDK that we have to select. So right now I've enabled Android 6 Marshmallow. So my app will minimum run on those devices. Below that, it won't run. So that's what it says here, like 85%, approximately 85% of devices will be able to run my app. So when I click on help me choose, it shows me what all features were implemented and what percentage of users are on that Android level right now. So I hope things are clearer now. Great. So then you just click on next, and this will set up your project for you. So this is just the project that I just set up right now. So are you guys with me?
Yes.
Great. So yeah, so let's get started with this. Right. So as you can see, it automatically opens my Kotlin file or the main activity file for me right now. So how we can work is, you guys can do you guys have some assets on your particular device? So let's just make this Ben 10 app real quick. So I'll just show it to you. I'll describe the process briefly because of the limitations of time, we might not be able to complete the full app. I will first, let's prefer, and I'll describe the app for you, and I'll explain what the code does. Then we can code it live and I can solve your issues, right? Okay. So just let me close the unnecessary files. So let's just stick to our two main files, that is activity main.xml and our main activity.kt. .kt is the Kotlin format. So this is my project. This is the app that I've already developed, right? And this is an empty project. So I'll just explain this app for you real quick. So what does an onCreate function do? So first of all, if you see, when you initialize an empty app with an empty activity, here's a class, you can see class. I'll just zoom in a bit. Okay. Let me just increase the font size.
It's okay. We can see the font.
Okay. So let's not waste further time. Okay. So the first thing that you see is class main activity.app compact activity. So don't get into that. We'll just avoid this code for right now. It's a technicality for this scope. So first of all, you can see an overridden function on create. Again, avoid this word keyword override. So basically, we have a function called on create, which has some arguments. Let's just call it that. And this is calling another function. And it has a line that says set content view r.layout activity main. This line basically. So an onCreate function is the function that is like our entry point for an application. So when we build an Android app, we don't have a main function, or we don't have that. So we have an entry point to an activity. As I said earlier, that Android apps are made of activities. So each activity has a life cycle. For one activity, for its entirety of life cycle, the onCreate function runs once, right? So this will be your entry point. So when you have an app, when you build that app, this will be the function that runs once. So this will be the first function that runs, right? So we have set content view r.layout activity main. So basically R is a static class, right? So whenever your app is created, you can refer to objects of your app using that. So what I mean by this is that in Kotlin, how it works is in Kotlin and Java, the UI and our code is different, right? So we have an activity main.xml, a layout file, which has how our program looks like. I'll just zoom this for you. Yeah. So this is the template, empty template that we just initialized. It just has hello world in it. This is hello world, if you can see it. So this is our layout editor. So this part of it is the real layout, and here it's just a brief, framework, or you can call it a blueprint of your application. The blue color one is a blueprint, just for reference purposes, and this is a framework, right? So I would, since we have less time, I would prefer that you guys view the second session that was held. You can view the second session in the recordings available. It will help you with explanation of layouts, constraints. So that should help you out in that. Right now, we don't have enough time to cover all of it. So let's just proceed. So this is how our code is connecting to our XML file. So here we have declared set content view r.layout activity main. This means that we have set a view. We have set a screen that this will be shown when we run this app. So I can run this app and show it to you. And then I'll show you the Ben 10 app that I had made, which is basically an emulation of the dice roller app. It's just basically a minor deviation from it. I'll just run it real quick and show my screen here. So if you have any other queries till then, you can feel free to unmute yourself, or you can just enter it on the chat. I'll check the chat once. Okay, nothing on the chat.
भैया पिछले वाला सेशन कहाँ पर मिलेगा?
Yeah, it's on the
iTunes.
Yeah, so it's on the Telegram channel. Telegram channel पे मैंने एक just a minute इसको escape कर देता हूँ. हाँ. So on the Telegram channel मैंने share कर रखा एक document, right? So I've shared a document जिसमें सारी links है. I'll share it again for you in this meet if you want. I hope you all are on the Telegram channel, and it's the pinned message. तो उस document में तुम्हें सब कुछ मिल जाएगा. The details for this program and the recordings, everything is there, right? So as you can see, this is my phone right here. You can see hello world here. Just you can see that the color is changed. That is because of a system-wide dark mode that I have. Just avoid that for now. So Kotlin just switched to the dark mode, the dark theme that I talked about previously. So this is our hello world app. So now you can see that our UI and our code is connected with this one line, right? So before, okay, so we'll have to improvise a bit, and I'll help you. I'll guide you through how you can code this out. The application, I'll be showing you my Ben 10 app right now. Okay, so I just switched a window, and this was the Omnitrix, or I just called it Omnitrix for that time. So this is the activity main code. So this is a very simple code right now. If you can see, it's barely like 38 lines. So that's like a very small code amount for a basic application, and that's how Kotlin that's how easy Kotlin makes stuff for us. So I'll just run it and show this to you guys. Omnitrix. I might have this installed on my emulator, but it's all right. So yeah, so you can see my whole screen right now. The Gradle builder was running, right? So you can see it in the bottom part of your process. Yeah. So this is basic Android app, right? So I have dark mode on, so just ignore the lack of color scheme here, right? So when I click on the Omnitrix, it will just give me another hero or another alien that I choose. So this is a button that I'm using. This is done randomly, so it would be random. It might be possible that it can have the same alien once or twice, but that's random. That's completely random. So here's gray matter, and as I said, I was a huge Ben 10 fan when I was young. I still am. So yeah, so I'll just show this to you on the emulator as well, and then we'll see how this app was made. So for those of you who are using emulator, you can change the device you're using from here on the top of your Android Studio, right? So this is my emulated device, Pixel 3a, and here's my connected device, OnePlus 6, right? So I'll just show this app again on the emulator now. So it is also, these two would be running a different Android version. Yes, these two are running a different Android version. Yeah. So here's my app again here. So no dark mode in this. So when I click on the button, the Omnitrix button here, the build, okay, wait. So we're waiting for target devices to come online. I'll just have to wait for a minute. Let the app run. Allow. Okay, just a minute. So just wait for the process to finish. Then it will reinstall the application. Launching app. Yeah, so as you can see, it's installing it right now below. And we'll just have a look at it on the emulator as well. So one thing that I would like to tell you guys about is, so as I just showed it to you guys right now on my phone. So my phone is about a 6-inch phone. So this Pixel 3 would be about like a 5-inch phone, 5.3 or 5.5-inch phone. So we don't have static sizes or static, text size or a font size or an image size in our Android applications. We have an adaptive size so that despite whatever phone we run on it, we have a standardized UI that it automatically gets the screen size and it automatically adjusts it according to the pixels. So that is called SP and DP that you'll be using. So I'll show it to you in the code section as well. So here's the emulated app. When I click on this Omnitrix right here, so it will give me the aliens as you just saw it. So even when I change the phone or change the emulator screen size, the app somewhat stays the same. Okay, so the orientation stays the same. I'll show how I did that. And this app basically selects random aliens. And let's just dive into the code right now. Okay, so I'll close this emulator for now. Okay, so how was this coded? So first of all, let's go to our layout and we'll observe what I've done in this app that I made prior to this session, right? So we go to res, drawable. And so first of all, what I did was I created images. I had some images that I had with me. And I imported them in drawable. So how I do that is I'll just delete ben.png for right now. And I'll show it to you how I did that. Okay, so delete anyway. Okay, so I deleted that file. I'll show it to you how I imported it. You can just go to your directory where this is stored. So I'll head to my file explorer. Okay, so I have this stored over here. So all you need to do is just copy it from here, click on drawable and paste it right here. Right click here and just click on paste. That's all you need to do. Make sure it's in the drawable folder, app, source. Just ignore this expanded directory structure right now and click on OK here. Then you just have to refactor, click on refactor, and it imports the image for you. So here you have ben.png and you can use it in your layout. I'll show it to you on the new app as well. I can show it to you. So this is an empty application. And so I'm having basically two applications right now. To save time, I'm showing you how this is coded. because I can't show you the coding of the entire application in this brief time. So I'll be showing it to you very quickly. So this is my empty application right now called Ben 10. The other application which is already made that you just saw on your screens was Omnitrix. Okay, so I'll go to Resource Manager and I'll go to Project, then Res, then Drawable, expand this out, and I'll just copy whatever I had and paste it over here. So I hope you guys are with me, and just click on OK. So now we have ben.png. Now let's go to our layout file, which is empty right now. Okay, so we have an empty layout file right now. It just says hello world. This is our empty application. So we don't need hello world. We can just change. So I covered some of the attributes in my second session, the previous one. So be sure to check that out for ID and all these things. So I'll just breeze through it right now very quick. So yeah, so as you can see, it says hello world right now. So I can have just, yeah, as I did, it's hero time, the slogan of Ben 10, right? So I'll just click enter here and it will update the text. I will increase the size of the text. I can change the font family. I can do a lot of stuff. So yeah, I'll just restrict it to that right now. Okay, it might be a little buggy at times. Yeah, so you'll have to keep your patience. So yeah, it's hero time. You can see it on my screen right now, right? So yeah, now if I have to add an image view. So what I did earlier was I just added that particular asset or image to one of my folders so that I can access it. अभी मेरे ऐप में वो डला नहीं है. I have not added to my screen. I just put images in my folder. It is not on my screen. As you can see, मुझे screen पे नहीं दिख रही है वो Ben 10 की image. So for that, I will select the palette. So I hope you guys are with me here on the XML file. I'll just check once if somebody is facing any issues. Okay, come on. Yeah. Bhaiya, please share the tele. Yeah, I'll share that to you later. I think there are no doubts. So let's just continue. The session will be till 7:30. So I'll keep it as fast as possible. I'll not extend your times. I know that you guys have a tight schedule of classes as well, right? So I'll share it. I'll share it in some time, Shaurya. It would also have been emailed to you. Yeah. Okay. So it's not on my screen right now. As you saw in, this is empty. So to do that, I'll just go to common. I can have an image view. I'll click on image view and I can drag it on my app. Okay, so then this gives me a pop-up. I will select Ben from here. So now since I copied it in the drawable folder, if you would recount, so hence I can see it here. I don't see any other images on my PC because it's not in that particular folder. So for any image or asset that you need to add to your app, it should be in the drawable folder. In the, it should be in the drawable folder, right? So I'll just click on OK. And here you go. You have that view right now. You have that application as someone was asking. This is how I did it. So I did it for all aliens that Ben 10 had, right? So I had assets of each alien. One is Ben, there'll be Cannon Bolt, Diamond Head, all those, right? So I had each of that asset, but I will not draw, I will import them. I will add them to the drawable folder, but I will not add them to my XML file right now. So by default, my XML file only has Ben 10. And via code, I'll be updating it later. So let's jump forward. Let's take a leap here. And I added an image button. It's available in buttons and image buttons. So you can just choose to drag it on the screen and you can have one button on your Android app. So I added an image button. So how we worked around it, let me just show it to you real quick. Yeah, so as you can see, this is how it looks like. And I'll do this real quick on our new application as well. So I'll drag out a button and I'll put it here. This time we can choose a button as well. It's all right. Image button is the same thing. So it's not an issue. I'll add constraints here. To know more about constraints, you can view the second session recording. Yeah. And I'll add constraints for the image view as well.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I transported the image onto the drawable folder, but as I drag the image onto my layout, it just shows us a rectangle and no image in that.
Okay, yeah. So you don't have to drag it from your project directly here. So I did not do this. You might be doing this, right? So this is not what I have to do.
No,
I'm
like
not in the.
not from here, from the like from the common thing.
Okay. So you're
Like
talking about the palette.
common
So
palette,
what I
yes.
did, I'll just show it to you again. I'll delete this image. So I clicked on common, then I clicked on image view. Then you have to drag this. Are you not able to drag it on your app like this?
I did exactly this, but I'll try it again.
Yeah, you can try it again. I clicked on it. I just dragged it. You can either drag it over here on the screen, on the white screen, or you can drag it under constraint layout. You can choose any of the things. You can do it over here as well. It will bring the same pop-up. So either you can drag it on the screen or over here, right? So I'll drag it on the screen right now, Ben, and click on OK. So I hope you guys are with me. I'll just, yeah. So when it's unconstrained, you can move it around. When it's constrained, when you have constrained it, you'll have problems moving it around. So first of all, position your items and then you can constrain them. So right now, see, this is constrained, but this I can't move because it's a fixed constraint. So I'll breeze through this. I'll have to. Okay, so I'll click on, I'll enable all the constraints. So now let's just come to the button. I hope the doubts are clear now. So when I click on the button, I'll have to add an attribute. So let's have a look at the attributes. So this is some stuff that you'll have to figure out. Is that one of the things that I did in the other app, or the one which we already have developed, the Omnitrix app. So what I did, I made sure that my images, so our images are of different sizes, right? So I just got it from internet, so they might be of different sizes. So I had to restrict the layout width. So my image view is like a container, you can think of it. So I put an image inside of it. So the size of an image cannot exceed the size of the container, right? You cannot put, if you have a sugar container, you can't put more sugar in it more than the size of the container, right? So in this case, जो मेरी इमेज का साइज है वो कंटेनर के साइज से रिस्ट्रिक्ट हो जाएगा. So that's what I did. So as you can see here, when I click on this image view, so don't look at this as an image, look at it as an image view. Okay, this is an image view containing an image, right? So when you look at it, you have layout width, layout height. Come over here in the attribute section. So this is something that I set SP. This is a relative size, which is dependent on pixels, right? So this is uniform across devices. So according to your device size, it will be modified accordingly. So you don't have to do much when it comes to images or static content, right? So I had fixed it to 400 SP. I can show it to you if I do. Okay, I'll just do it 300 right now. Yeah, so the width did shrink right now. Okay, and yeah, so this is the SP that I was talking about. Okay, now when we click, let's get back to our new app that we are making right now. So when we click on button here, we'll have one of the attributes. So you can see layout, wrap content, like layout width and layout height. So right now the default option is wrap content. So it will just wrap out, it will take the content inside it. It will take that default value. So if I'm putting like an elephant inside, it will take the size of the elephant, right? That's the default option, but we can restrict it. And we have a lot of other few attributes, which we'll not get into right now. One of the ones that interest us right now is the on click. So if you guys are with me, what you have to do, the easy way to do this is just click over here and enter any function name that you want. Okay, so I will enter change. Just that. You just have to mention change, full stop. That's it. That's all you have to do. So what this does is it associates a function. So whenever you click this button, it will do this. It's just like that code for you. So I clicked on change and I entered here. Now, one more thing that I have to take care of is the ID of the button. All right. So let me just take you to the other app right now, and I'll show you the definition of change. Yeah. So this is yeah. So this is my old app. Just to speed things up, I'm referring to the code here so that you guys can understand how exactly this was made. So let's head to our code. So as you can see, just ignore this for now. I'll delete the code. Yeah. So this is again empty now. This is an empty application now. All I've done is I have an onCreate method, and this was done by default by Android Studio. And what I did is I just created a function. I'll write it here again. Change. And I have to pass view as an argument. So if you guys remember the Kotlin syntax, this view, I'll add a different name for it, otherwise it will give an error, right? So suppose I'm making change to function, right? So this view is the variable name, right? This is a parameter. But this view, this one, I can just name it anything else as well. I can have view 1 or another view, anything. But this is the data type. This is the Kotlin syntax that we're following here. So this is how we declare functions for buttons, right? So this is basically this is something called as a listener. For every object, you'll have a listener. For example, you might have apps in which you have a particular function. When you hover over them or you click over them, when you click on the image disappears. So everything has a listener. But right now, to keep code easy, what I did was, I'll just repeat it once. I added the name of the function I want to create in my button. I clicked on the button and I selected on click and I mentioned the name of the function. मैंने कुछ नहीं किया, मैंने बस यहाँ पे उस function का नाम लिख दिया, change. So this is the proper way to do it. तो मैंने एक function change बनाया अभी. So this is the function change and this should have this. This is mandatory here. ये जो आप देख रहे हो ना, the argument view. So this we are taking a shortcut. That's why this is mandatory over here. I'll paste back the code here. So this is how your function, or you can say a template of your function should look like. It should have function and your attributes as view. It should take a view type. Now, Android Studio, or you can say Kotlin, automatically understands that once I click on this button, this is an image button here, Omnitrix. So when I do this on click, so this Android Studio or the SDK, it will look for change function called as change inside my Kotlin code of this format. So agar main ise hata दूं, so if I delete this part of code, it will not run. It will give me an error because it's not the type of function it's looking for. Kotlin is looking for. The type of function that Kotlin is looking for has an argument as a view. Because after all, image button or button is a view. So how does Android know कि हम उसी button को दबा रहे हैं? So it passes a reference, or you can say that view, to this function. I hope you guys understand this. So that's what we're doing here. हमने कुछ नहीं किया. What we did was हमने बस उसका नाम लिखा on click पे. We just selected a name and added a function body. We added a function का बस declaration over here. So ignore the body for right now. We just added a declaration. ठीक है? And this body is empty right now. इस function अभी function कुछ नहीं करता. But this will work. When I click on this will work. Okay. So I'll just paste it here. Yeah. So now, once we have figured out कि वो button क्या करता है, now what we have to do is we have to change our asset. Basically क्या है? एक image view में एक image हमने डाल रखी है ना. So basically what it is, that image view में भी there is something called as there's an attribute known as image resource. Okay. So as I said, image view को देखो तुम, image को मत देखो. Image view में तुमने image डाली हुई. So what my code basically does is, sorry, I'll just explain it to you real quick. So first of all, I have to find out, okay. So the first two lines over here you see, val omnitrix and val character over here. These two lines basically, what is this doing? So as I explained, code और layout हमारा अलग है. तो ये जो हमने बटन बनाया और ये जो हमने इमेज व्यू बनाया, we have this in our layout. It is not known to our code right now. हमारे कोड को नहीं पता कि ये बटन है या ये क्या है. तो इसीलिए that is why we use ID attribute over here. If you scroll above, बिल्कुल top पे, when you click on the button here, you will see ID over here. So right now the ID, or you can call this as you can think of this as a variable name. So this is how we'll refer this object. So right now, button is the name of this Omnitrix. जो Omnitrix का हमने बटन बनाया है, उसका हमने नाम दे दिया बटन. So to refer this object, हमें कोड को बोलना है कि तू इसके साथ चेंजेस कर. तो बेसिकली हमारा जो बटन है वो क्लिक हो जाएगा. That is not an issue. बट हमें अब इमेज चेंज करनी है. हाउ डू वी चेंज दैट इमेज? तो हमने सबसे पहले वो बाकी सारी इमेजेस ऐड कर दी ड्रॉएबल में, जस्ट लाइक आई डिड वन, यू गाइस कैन डू द अदर्स, राइट? सो यू जस्ट ऐड दीज इमेजेस इनसाइड, and what you have to do, you just have to change the image resource for that particular image view. ठीक है, तो image view हमारा जो कंटेनर है, हम बस क्या करते हैं उसमें, फॉर एग्जाम्पल यू हैव शुगर इन इट, हम शुगर को हटा के वी कैन पुट लाइक टी लीव्स, चाय पत्ती डाल सकते हैं, राइट? सो दैट्स व्हाट वी आर डूइंग राइट नाउ. हम बस उस कंटेनर को, कंटेनर सेम ही रहेगा, हम बस उसकी इमेज चेंज कर रहे हैं, और इमेजेस हमने ऑलरेडी यहाँ पे डाल रखी है, तो दैट्स नॉट अ डिफिकल्ट जॉब, इट्स अ वेरी इजी जॉब. सो व्हाट आई हैव डन हियर, सो फॉर दैट मुझे पता तो होना चाहिए ना, लाइक वो कंटेनर कहाँ पे है. सो अगर मेरी किचन में कंटेनर पड़ा है, सो आई नीड टू नो कि वो कहाँ पे है, ताकि मैं उसके कंटेंट्स चेंज कर पाऊँ. सो राइट नाउ आवर कोड डजंट नो दैट, आवर कोड डजंट नो व्हाट आवर इमेज व्यू इज, कहाँ पे है एंड वेयर इज इट, बिकॉज वो XML में है, XML फाइल हमारी लेआउट फाइल है. सो फॉर दैट, टू फाइंड दैट, वी हैव अ function which is known as find view by ID. So what this does is it finds objects from your XML key layout file. It will fetch values from it. So this is a particular format that you have follow. जैसे मैंने बताया था कि R is a static class. ठीक है? So if you guys don't know about classes and objects, you will figure this out a little later. You can go through the modules and the courses. It will explain it to you in a very brief and as fast as possible. So do make sure that you refer to the courses. So yeah, getting back to what I was speaking, R is a static class. तो R में से I have something called as ID. So since as मैंने दिखाया था ना यहाँ पे, every object or every of our attribute, every of our element or view has ID. तो हम R is a class जो generate होती है जब तुम्हारा app run होता है, right? तो R.id को हम refer करेंगे, and I then just call the button of button. तो अब मेरे को अगर कोड में उस बटन को एक्सेस करना है, that's what I did. First of all, well, I'll just type it out for you guys here as well. What I did was I created a variable. So suppose मुझे बटन को बुलाना है button only, ठीक है? Easy, let's keep things easy. So I'll call this button as button. So val button, and now I'll have to tell कि ये क्या है, इसका type image button. So it's an image button over in this case, right? So I'll click on val button image button equal to now the value of it. Now I'll do the function call find. So yeah, तो ये automatically recommendation दे देता है Android Studio. तो मैं बस क्लिक करूंगा find view by ID. Then I'll start writing r.id. तो R की भी बहुत सारे हैं. Like you can access a lot of stuff. You can directly access your layout file also r.layout से. But अभी के लिए ID पे स्टिक करते हैं. r.id डॉट हमारा जो बटन का ID हमने यहाँ लिखा था. तो मेक श्योर कि जो तुम्हारे बटन का ID यहाँ पे लिखा है एंड द फंक्शन नेम जो तुमने यहाँ लिखा है, मतलब नाम तुम्हारा सेम होना चाहिए. अगर तुम्हारा सेम नहीं होगा तो एरर्स आएंगी बिकॉज यू कांट लिंक देम. ठीक है, तो ओवर हियर यहाँ पे बटन, हमारे बटन का नाम बटन ही है एंड माय फंक्शन फॉर चेंजिंग ऑन क्लिक फंक्शन इज चेंज. व्हाट आई डिड इज आई जस्ट एक्सेस्ड r.id.button बस. तो अब हमारे कोड में हमने इस वेरिएबल में इस पर्टिकुलर बटन को काइंड ऑफ स्टोर कर दिया है. तुम ऐसे सोच सकते हो, हमने बेसिकली उसका एक रेफरेंस पास किया, रेफरेंस स्टोर किया, बट यू कैन जस्ट थिंक ऑफ इट. अब हमें पता चल गया कि भाई ये कंटेनर कहाँ पे, सपोज लाइक इट्स इन दिस पर्टिकुलर शेल्फ इन माय किचन. सो आई नाउ नो इट. सो अब मैं इसमें चेंजेस कर सकता हूँ. सो व्हाट आई हैव डन इज, गेटिंग बैक टू द कोड, द फर्स्ट 2 लाइन्स इज जस्ट एक्सेसिंग दोज वैल्यूज फ्रॉम माय XML फाइल. तो अभी मैंने Omnitrix नाम का बटन एक्सेस कर लिया. अब मैं उस बटन को Omnitrix बोल रहा हूँ यहाँ पे, एंड कैरेक्टर, उस इमेज व्यू को मैं कैरेक्टर बोल रहा हूँ. ठीक है, तो दैट्स व्हाट आई हैव डन इन दीस फर्स्ट 2 लाइन्स. नाउ व्हाट द थर्ड लाइन इज, इट्स एक शॉर्ट हैंड नोटेशन है जिसमें हम रैंडम नंबर्स जनरेट करते हैं Kotlin में. तो val x, तो यहाँ पे अगेन ये हमने एक वेरिएबल डिक्लेयर किया है एंड हम उसकी एक वैल्यू एसोसिएट कर रहे हैं. तो x इज अ वेरिएबल ऑफ टाइप int एंड इससे मैं रैंडम फंक्शंस या रैंडम नंबर्स, फंक्शंस नहीं, रैंडम नंबर्स जनरेट कर सकता हूँ. So what this does is, this is shorthand notation. तो what ये करता है कि 1 से 8 के बीच में this will just generate a random number every time. Now when x, this is the code that says when x. तो every time this function will run whenever. So ये मेरा change function है. Just be sure ये मेरा onCreate function अलग है and my change function is out of this code. So I will also share the GitHub link for the this code with you guys later. एंड आई वुड लाइक कि तुम लोग उसमें चेंजेस करो. सो तुम्हारा एक गिटहब का सेशन हुआ होगा, उसमें तुम्हें सिखाया होगा थोड़ा बहुत. सो आई होप यू गाइज विल मेक pull requests and modify the code a bit. So right now the code is bad, I would say, because अभी इसमें object oriented नहीं है. We should work with classes. So what we should do is make a class, उसके objects रखे और उसमें एक function रखे. अभी मैंने बहुत ही rough code लिखा है. That's not how we work. But let's continue. तो on create हमारी ये जो class है, main class, उसके अंदर दो functions है. एक on create जो by default आता है और एक जो मैंने लिखा change नाम का function. So let's continue inside change. So right now this code does it. What it does is कि x में एक random number store कर देगा जब भी change function call होता है. And when is change function called? So can anybody unmute and tell me कि change function कब call होता है? ये chat पे लिख दो. Guys, please respond.
When the button is clicked.
Right, great. So because हमने we had added this in XML, right? So the change function is called every time the button is clicked. So what this does is, so ये मैं अभी तुम्हें change function describe कर रहा था. So this is where we accessed that variable, that the character जो हमारी XML में था, हमें नहीं पता था कहाँ पे है, but अब हमें पता चल गया with the help of this function find view by ID. So now we can make changes to it. पहले हमें पता ही नहीं कहाँ पे, तो how will we change the contents? How will we put चीनी को हटा के हम चाय पत्ती कैसे डालें? We can't do that, right? तो इसलिए हमें पहले उसका एक वेरिएबल क्रिएट करना पड़ा ताकि हमें पता लगे कि वो कहाँ पे है, where is that particular container. तो अब हमें पता है कि कैरेक्टर विच इज आर इमेज व्यू, बेसिकली जो Ben 10 की अभी इमेज दिख रही है, दिस इमेज व्यू, इसको मैंने आईडी दे रखा है कैरेक्टर. ठीक है, तो अभी मुझे पता है कि अब मुझे कैरेक्टर का एक्सेस मिल गया. सो आई नाउ नो आई कैन मेक चेंजेस टू इट. सो व्हाट आई हैव डन इज दिस इज बेसिकली अ स्विच केस स्टेटमेंट, राइट. ये कुछ नहीं है, आई थिंक या ये कुछ एक, हाँ एक मिनट, एक ब्रैकेट था, ओके या, तो कुछ नहीं. तो बेसिकली इट इज अ स्विच केस स्टेटमेंट. तो इट्स अ ग्लोरिफाइड वे ऑफ मेकिंग एक शॉर्ट फॉर्म में शॉर्टकट अगर हम मारे टू मेक एन इफ एल्स स्टेटमेंट. तो हमारी इफ एल्स ब्लॉक होते हैं ना, लाइक इफ ये करो तो ये होगा, एल्स ये करो तो ये होगा. तो अगर तुम्हें ऐसे मल्टीपल लिखने होते हैं तो इट्स लाइक अ बिट प्रॉब्लमैटिक एंड इनकन्वीनियंट कि हम इतने सारे इफ एल्स लिखे. इसलिए हम स्विच केस स्टेटमेंट यूज करते हैं. पाइथन में भी स्विच केस होता है, जावा, ऑल लैंग्वेजेस हैव दैट, राइट. In Kotlin, we just call it when else statement. Switch case becomes when else. So what this code does is when x. Okay, so what this does is basically जब what it does is कि x की वैल्यू जब 1 होगी तो ये लाइन एग्जीक्यूट करेगा, अगर 2 होगी तो ये करेगा, 3 होगी तो ये करेगा, and so on. And we can also have an else statement. So इसका syntax you guys might take some time for it, but I'll not focus on that. So this is what it's doing कि हमने क्या किया, x का एक रैंडम नंबर हर बार चेंज कॉल होता है, तो वी जनरेट अ न्यू रैंडम नंबर x का. देन अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट रैंडम नंबर वी आर सेटिंग एन इमेज रिसोर्स. सो इफ यू लुक एट दिस लाइन, कैरेक्टर डॉट सेट इमेज रिसोर्स में हमने कुछ पास किया है, r.drawable.canon. तो बेसिकली लेट्स जस्ट ब्रेक दिस डाउन. व्हाट आई हैव डन इज कि अब कैरेक्टर क्या था, कैरेक्टर वाज द नेम ऑफ आवर इमेज व्यू जो हमारे उस एप्लीकेशन के लेआउट में. दिस इज कॉल्ड कैरेक्टर. अभी इसमें बाय डिफॉल्ट मैंने Ben 10 की फोटो डाली, बट आई वांट दिस टू चेंज. ठीक है, तो व्हाट आई विल डू इज आई विल कॉल कैरेक्टर डॉट सेट इमेज रिसोर्स. दिस इज द फंक्शन जो तुम्हारी इमेज व्यू का इमेज चेंज कर सकता है. ठीक है, सो सेट इमेज, तो ये रिकमेंडेशंस तुम्हें अपने आप दे देगा. सेट इमेज रिसोर्स, देन वी हैव टू पास. अब हमें वो पास करना है जो हमें इमेज सेट करनी है, तो वो कहाँ पे है. इफ यू रिमेंबर वो हमने ड्रॉएबल फोल्डर में डाली थी. सो अगर तुम इससे ऐसे देखो कि यू कैन बेसिकली कॉल आर, इट्स नॉट एग्जैक्टली राइट, बट तुम एक काइंड ऑफ पैरेलल ड्रॉ कर सकते हो कि आर तुम्हारा रिसोर्स फोल्डर जैसा है. तो आर में से यू कैन डू आर, जैसे हमारा रिसोर्स फोल्डर था ना, रिसोर्स फोल्डर में वी हैड अ ड्रॉएबल फोल्डर और उसमें हमारी इमेजेस थी. तो नाउ वी कैन, मतलब एक पैरेलल ड्रॉ कर लो कि व्हाट वी डिड वाज आर, जो हमारी स्टैटिक क्लास है, एक्चुअली जो हमारी स्टैटिक क्लास है r डॉट ड्रॉएबल. तो हमारा रिसोर्स फोल्डर में ड्रॉएबल में था ना हमारी इमेजेस, राइट. तो हमें वहां से एक्सेस करनी पड़ेगी. अब मुझे कुछ सेट करना है, तो r डॉट ड्रॉएबल, ड्रॉएबल हमारे फोल्डर का नाम था अगेन. ठीक है, r डॉट ड्रॉएबल डॉट, अब हमें ऑटोमेटिकली रिकमेंडेशंस आ जाएंगी when you use Android Studio with the name of the PNG files. तो जैसे आप राइट साइड में देखो, I have Accelerate, I have Wild, and I have Humongosaur के लिए Humong. So it will recommend me these options, and this will set my image that. So agar I can also, if I make it simple for you guys, if your guys are getting confused by this particular line, तो अभी यहाँ पे एक squiggly line दिख रही होगी तुम्हें रेड कलर की. That is because अभी मैं syntax को follow नहीं कर रहा हूँ, तो it is kind of illegal अभी के हिसाब से. But if I make a few additions ऐसे, तो अब वो गायब हो जाएगी लाइन, राइट? तो अभी के लिए इसे कमेंट करता है. सो आई होप तुम्हें ये स्विच के समझ आया. अगर नहीं आया तो दिस इज व्हाट इट डज. एक बार मैं डिस्क्राइब कर देता हूँ, अदरवाइज मैं एक इजी वे बताता हूँ, ठीक है? तो 1 अगर x की वैल्यू, तो हमने क्या किया, चेंज फंक्शन कॉल किया सबसे पहले, और उसके बाद हमने एक्सेस किया कि वो आईडी, वो कौन सा इमेज व्यू है जो हमें चेंज करना है, राइट? इमेज व्यू में हमें जो इमेज चेंज करनी है वो कौन सी, ठीक है? सो वी डोंट नीड टू डू दैट. वैसे एवरी बार, हर बार नहीं करने की जरूरत है. उसके लिए हम क्लासेस वगैरह में जाएंगे. वी कैन हैव अ बेटर कोड. फॉर एग्जाम्पल लेटर, आई होप कि तुम लोग थोड़ी चेंजेस करो आफ्टर प्रैक्टिसिंग, तो वी कैन होप फॉर अ बेटर कोड देयर. लाइक इसमें क्या हो रहा है, इनएफिशिएंट है थोड़ा सा. हर बार जब मैं बटन चेक करता हूँ, बटन क्लिक करता हूँ, तो हर बार माई कोड लुक्स फॉर इट every time it runs this function. So it's not efficient. I don't need to do this every time I click on that button. But scope को easy करने के लिए, to keep things easy, right now I've done it. तो what it does is कि ये बटन मैंने क्लिक किया, तो सबसे पहले वो ढूंढेगा कि वो इमेज व्यू कहाँ पे है. Once it finds it, now I generate a random number, and according to, I just filled different images for each random number. तो जैसे कि 1 के लिए मैंने कैनन बोल्ट ले लिया, सेकंड के लिए वाइल्ड मट ले लिया, थर्ड के लिए डायमंड हेड, राइट? सो ऐसे ऐसे आई सिलेक्टेड, आई केप्ट अ कंडीशन. बेसिकली एक इफ एल्स ब्लॉक ही है कि इफ मेरा x की वैल्यू, अगर मेरा रैंडम नंबर जनरेट 1 हुआ, तो आई विल पुट दिस इमेज, अदरवाइज आई विल पुट दिस इमेज. इट्स बेसिकली दैट, ठीक है? सो दिस इज व्हाट आर व्हेन स्टेटमेंट इज डूइंग राइट नाउ. सो इज दिस क्लियर? इफ इट्स नॉट, when will we press the button? Okay, so it depends on the user. तो जब हम ऐप बना रहे हैं, वो यूजर के साथ इंटरैक्टिव होना चाहिए. So the user will click on the button. That's the point. तो डाइस रोलर भी ऐसे ही बनेगा ना. तो तुम जब रोल बटन पे क्लिक करते हो, तो then that's when it will change the image. तो जैसे हमारा जो ऐप है, I'll just show the app again once again. हाँ, तो हमारा जो ऐप है, when we click on that button, then the image will change. Then this code will run. So if it's not clear to you guys, I will also, तो अभी के लिए you can choose to avoid the, एक मिनट, just a minute. हाँ, अरे, so this is problematic sometimes. Just a minute. Let me fix this. हाँ, तो as I was saying earlier, कि what you can do is ignore the if the when else statement, basically the switch case statement, उसे अभी के लिए ignore कर दो, ठीक है? I will show it to you right now. Just give me a minute. I need to connect my phone. All right. So now I'll show you the app once again. Okay, I'll show you both the apps. One is Dice Roller and one is our Ben 10 app, which we made. So I'm a big fan of Ben 10. It was like my favorite cartoon growing up. So abhi unne ruin kar diya. That is useless now. हाँ. So I have 2-3 apps on my phone. ये देखो, ये Omnitrix app है जो तुमने देखा. So let me enable touches. Just a minute again. So ये सब developer option से होता है. You guys should ideally like play around with this stuff. But मतलब ध्यान से कुछ weird चीजें भी मत करना. Okay, just a minute. Show tabs. हाँ, तो इससे you can see where my finger is and what I'm doing right now. So my Omnitrix app first of all. So right now I'm on the button over here. I click on it और change हो गया, 4 arms आ गया. Now it's gray matter, right? So what you guys can do, so this is an idea. So when you guys were asking कि how innovative can we make an app, तो मैंने Dice Roller, हमारे पास एक Dice Roller app था इस project में. I just like Ben 10, तो मैंने सोचा यार कुछ नहीं करते, just let's change it. अच्छा, do I have Dice Roller on it? हाँ, so this was the Dice Roller app. कि इस पे कुछ नहीं आता, रोल पे क्लिक करते तो दो डाइस आ जाते हैं, ठीक है? That's what it does. एंड इट्स द सेम कोड, प्रैक्टिकली ये सेम चीज कर रहा है, लाइक रैंडम नंबर जनरेट करता है और उसकी वैल्यू के हिसाब से वो इमेज रिसोर्स सेट कर देता है. इट्स लाइक सिंपल स्टफ. मैंने क्या किया, आई अप्लाइड माई ब्रेन अ लिटिल एंड इट वाज लाइक वेरी क्विक. लाइक आई जैसे देख रहे हो, इट्स नॉट अ वेरी रिफाइंड ऐप, मैंने काफी जल्दी किया है. ठीक है, तो what you have to do, you just use your brain, apply it in something innovative and try to make it good looking. जैसे अभी ये good looking नहीं है, so Google will see the screenshot also, so they will see it, तो अच्छा लगना चाहिए देख के. So it should be good looking, try to use your concepts. So this is basically the same app. ये बस सेम बटन पे दबाता है एंड इट विल जस्ट शो मी एन एलियन. तो यू कैन जस्ट कॉल इट Omnitrix ऐप, लाइक जो तुम्हारी एलियंस कॉल करता है. So okay, so I hope that this doubt is clear. When will we press the button? So other than that, abhi I can take up doubts. हाँ, तो one last thing that I would like to say. अभी के लिए you guys, if you guys are confused, you can follow this recording again, right? Then you can try this out again. Try to make this yourself. Don't try to copy my code. ठीक है? Try to make this yourself once more. And if you have prior experience, try to make it via classes. ठीक है? Try to make your code efficient and good code, basically object oriented. So try to do that if you have prior experience. If not, you can stick to this. And if you have problems understanding the when else statement or the switch case, you can just ignore this for now. You can basically delete this entire code and you can just set it to a static. यानी कि तुम बस decide कर सकते हो कि जब भी मैं बटन दबाऊं तो वो इमेज एक पर्टिकुलर इमेज में चेंज हो जाएगा. Like you can just do this. Okay, I will access character dot set image resource r.drawable dot omnitrix omni dot png. या सो अब ये क्या करेगा, ये बहुत सिंपल होगा कोड. ये तो लाइक बेयरली 5 लाइन का कोड है. तो ये क्या करेगा, जब भी तुम्हारा बटन दबेगा तो वो एक इमेज चेंज कर देगा बस, ओनली वंस. इट विल नॉट चेंज इट मल्टीपल टाइम्स. वो इमेज वंस वो आ गई तो वो दोबारा चेंज नहीं होने वाली. दोबारा बटन दबाने से कुछ नहीं होगा, बिकॉज हर बार वो सेम इमेज ही चेंज करता जाएगा. ठीक है, सो इफ यू गाइज फेस प्रॉब्लम विद दिस, you can start by this, but I think I explained it pretty well, so you guys should get it. In case of other doubts, you can reach out, and if you have any doubts, I will stop recording right now, and I hope you guys like the session. We can take up the doubts right now. I'll stop sharing, and yeah, just one more thing. I'll share the rest of the slides. Okay. Just a minute. So I will share a window. Yeah. I hope my screen is visible right now. Yeah. So hide. Okay. So we'll go through this again. So since this is the last session, I'll be covering some additional details or some additional resources that can help you out. So if you have a question, I'll take up the questions in a few minutes, right? So what next? Let's talk about what next. So you came this far, you guys have attended the sessions, it's great. So we have so Google has announced, developer student clubs have announced the Solutions Challenge 2021. I can show that to you. So it's basically like a hackathon, and it's a great opportunity for you guys to get started. So you can take your time with these courses. You can learn this and you can register and form a team. So basically it's like a hackathon, and you'll be getting some prizes, and Google will be mentoring solutions that win this. So you'll have to form a team of 4 teammates from your same from your university, and you'll have to select a UN or sustainable development goal, and you can create solutions for it. So feel free to use Kotlin for it. You can use your WebD skills or any other skills that you have. So, but this is a great opportunity, and I think you should participate. So yeah, so I think, yeah, this is the tab that's visible, right? So this is the upcoming program, Solutions Challenge 2021. इसकी timeline आ चुकी है. You can just search this on Google and you'll find this out. And yeah, let's move forward with our presentation. So yeah, feel free to share what you've learned and the apps that you make. Again, the deadline is 24th Feb for 24th January for submission of apps, and for certification it's till 9th February. So take what it just do. So even if you do like one unit or one badge per day, so you have a lot of time. You can manage to do it, and all you have to do is complete the quizzes, and the quizzes have unlimited retries. So definitely participate and earn that certificate. Okay, so here are a few links that I've also added to the Telegram channel document, where you can delve more into Android development, Kotlin in general. And I'll share this again. Okay, so that's it, guys. I hope you guys like this session, and I'll be stopping the recording right now. So thank you for joining in, and it was great.